Welcome into the Commanders Report live show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Thank you guys so much for spending part of your Wednesday evening talking some Commanders football with us today, man. We're getting ready for Week 6 for a high-flying matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens today. We got a bunch of great Commanders content coming your way here over the next hour or so. We got 3 segments for you this evening. First up, the latest Commanders trade rumors. CBS Sports came out with a new article with a move that each team in the National Football League should make before the NFL trade deadline this year, and they listed 3 things for the Washington Commanders. So we'll be breaking that stuff down at the top of today's show. Then we'll be getting into buy, sell, or hold. So we got a bunch of different Commanders hot takes that Joey Petersen, our producer, has come up for me, and I will tell you whether to buy, sell, or hold stock in that hot take. And then we'll finish up today's show with my updated record prediction for your Washington Commanders. I think after the fast start, I think it's worth revisiting the rest of this schedule here and kind of just seeing where I think they're going to end up at the end of the season. I think I predicted somewhere around like 7, 8, 9 wins or something like that. At the beginning of the season, just a little bit of a spoiler warning here, producer Joey. I think they're going to be winning double-digit games this season and make the playoffs, so we'll be getting into that later. Joey, how you doing, my friend? Are you ready for this Week 6 matchup against the Ravens? Should be a fun one. I know it's a little bit of a, conflict of interest for you because you're also our Ravens host here at Chat Sports. How you feel about this matchup here?
Dude, it's going to be so exciting. Who would have thought that Ravens-Commanders was going to be the matchup that, everybody was juiced for?
Yeah.
If you would have told anybody that 4 weeks ago, everybody would have said, no way. But, man, 2 high-flying offenses, 2 struggling secondaries, struggling defenses.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see. I expect a lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of points is right. I mean, I think it's first and second in scoring offense, these 2 clubs. In Washington, I mean, this team had the number 2 pick in the draft this year, and they are first in scoring offense through the first 5 weeks. The only team in NFL history, Joey, with a rookie quarterback to have at least 150 points through the first 5 weeks. I mean, they are record-setting pace right now. Jayden Daniels is in the MVP conversation. I mean, this is just something that kind of blindsided me a little bit because we were on this show for weeks trying to temper expectations. Most teams with a rookie quarterback, that rookie is going to have rookie mistakes. They're not going to be polished right away coming into the league. But Jayden Daniels has proven to be a whole different beast, and he's looking like he could potentially even be the league's MVP this year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what he's been able to do. And it kind of has you questioning, should we be thinking about possibly not going all in per se, but is this the year, right? We talked a lot about.
We talked about how next year, this team would be making big moves and bringing people in and start using some of their cap space. Honestly, man, they got a lot of cap space heading into the trade deadline this year. They can certainly be aggressive. There's players that become available, especially at some positions of need, maybe at edge rusher, maybe at corner. I think that they can be extremely aggressive to get players that they like because it seems like this is a year where they can legitimately compete, especially if they can get a legit number 1 corner by the deadline.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be a good question and a good topic of discussion, I'm sure, for Dan Quinn and that front office of, hey, do we think our window's now or do we still think it's next year?
Absolutely. All right, so let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time before we get into our segments today. And Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And the way it works, guys, is you go on the Game Time app. It's free to do so, or to download it, I should say. Then you go into an event you guys want to go see, and then you select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and then you select the tickets that you want, pretty much. And what it does, Game Time Picks uses AI analytics to pretty much find the best deals and the best prices and the best seats for you and your family. So it's super easy to use, and the best part about it, guys, is that it saves you a bunch of time in research. You could go to a bunch of different ticketing apps and do the research yourself, or you could download the Game Time app today and use Game Time Picks to find the best seats for you and your family to whatever event that you choose, 100% free using their amazing software. And what I love about using the Game Time app, guys, is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. No matter where you go, it's really the only ticketing app I have on my phone, guys, because they already have the lowest price guaranteed. So you're not going to find those same tickets anywhere else on any other ticketing site at a lower price. Also, they have transparent all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to get the tickets to the event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports. It's one word, all caps, ChatSports. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ChatSports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So, Joey, our donation menu today, we are bringing back the candy tosses here. We still have the pack of Skittles gummies. So if you guys send in a $5, we'll get a candy toss going. Also, every 50 likes, and every 50 likes on today's show, we will be doing a free candy toss. So if you guys are watching today's show, you guys want free candy tosses, all this great stuff, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon right now and help us out. Really do appreciate your guys' support. Every $5 donation, the way that the candy tosses work is I'm going to be trying to throw a piece of candy into Joey Petersen's mouth, and if he catches it, nothing happens. But if he misses, we have punishments. For every miss, we have to take a shot. Every 3 misses, we have to one of us has to do a beer bong, and then for every 5 misses, we bring out the hot jelly beans, the Jelly Belly Infernos, the Carolina Reaper jelly beans. So hopefully there's not too many misses today. Hopefully Joey can figure it all out. I really do appreciate your guys' support. Again, here's our donation menu. Any super chat, any amount, whether it's $1 or whether it's $100, we're going to put you on screen. We're going to give you guys love, all this great stuff. $5, we'll do a candy toss for you. We appreciate you guys. $20, we'll bring out the tortillas, and we'll slap somebody for a $20 donation. And if you want to join Hog Mafia today, that's $50 in total donations today. So what do you get if you're a member of Hog Mafia? You get a donation sticker every single time that you super chat. So you get that Commander Support Hog Mafia piggy bank sticker next to your super chats for life, and you also get a shout out on every single Commanders Report live show. So let's have a little bit of a word here, or give some shout outs here to the people of Hog Mafia. Really do appreciate the support of the people that have put in at least $50 on one of our streams. Shout out to IQ Barbecue, Marco Gorman, Omar's Burner, Lord Buddy Bear, Luke O'Gorman, TJ, Commando Mike, James Howard, Russell Hance, and Jerry Gettings. If you guys want to send in your donations via Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal instead of Super Chat, we're not going to say no to Super Chats, but YouTube does take 30% of every single dollar you donate via that channel. So if you guys want us to keep more of your donation dollars, you guys can send your money to @Jack-Sperry on Venmo, money sign Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or @Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. Really do appreciate your guys' support. So before we get into our first segment today, Joey, I want you to give a shout out to everybody that spams me in the chat. Right now I'm seeing Jasmine Gray, I'm seeing Jack Lotteray, I'm seeing Cassie Vote down there in the chat. Who else is here? I see we got about 90 people here, so make sure you spam me in the chat if you've liked today's stream. Joey, give some shout-outs, my friend.
Jasmine's here, as always. What's going on, Jasmine? School Funny's here. He's typing me, or she. Diddy Destroyer, typing Commanders, baby, earlier. We got Cassie Voth. She's here. It's Torch is here. Kenny Lewis, he's saying me. Keep typing those me's.
We need to get to 30 likes before we get into our first segment. We need 8 more likes, all right? So if you guys haven't clicked that thumbs up icon, don't hold up the show any longer. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon and show your support for the channel. We are approaching 100 people watching live around the world here on the Commanders Report live show. We're 5 likes away. Make sure you spam those me's for a shout-out. Shout out to Greg Payne. Shout out to School Funny. He says, let's get the likes rolling. Listen to School Funny, man. We got Kenny Lewis in here. We got It's Torch. Got Cassie, of course, my girlfriend in the chat. So give Cassie some love, if you will. We also got Jasmine Gray in here. Jack Lotteray. There we go. We just got to 35 likes, Joey. So without further ado, here we got some Commanders trade rumors to discuss on our first segment today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today on the Commanders Report, I am covering the latest Commanders trade rumors from a recent article published by CBS Sports, and they have 3 different moves that they suggest the Washington Commanders make before the NFL trade deadline, and we're going to be breaking it down right here on the show. Welcome into the program here. My name is Jack Sperry, your host, and today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you watch our videos, you enjoy our content, we put out videos like this just about every single day. We also have live watch parties for most Commanders games, live on Sundays whenever the Commanders play football games, and if the Commanders end up making a trade before the deadline, we're going to have a breaking news video for you guys. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to never miss any breaking news action from us here at the Commanders Report by Chat Sports. So now let's get into the big one here, so to speak, all right? Because I think that there's three moves in this article, and this one I think is the most eye-popping, all right? So CBS Sports says that the Commanders should pursue Carolina Panthers' former first-round pick here, Jaycee Horn, cornerback, formerly a South Carolina Gamecock. He's had some really good individual games. He's had some really good stretches during his NFL career, but he has dealt with some injuries. Very interesting name to throw around here with the Panthers potentially looking to be sellers at the deadline. So let's see what Benjamin Solak from CBS Sports had to say about linking Horn to the Washington Commanders. Commanders executive Scott Fitterer drafted Horn early in Carolina. The Panthers like him, but he'll likely command top dollar despite a checkered medical history. This splash would aid Washington's secondary. And honestly, guys, I kind of like the idea. Carolina is a team that could be unloading a lot of their top pieces before the deadline because they're not going anywhere this season. That defense in Carolina has been really, really bad. And I'm not sure if they want to pay Jaycee Horn top money because he's going to probably command that despite the fact that he's had a lot of injuries. He's somebody that hasn't really been super productive for them in his career because of that checkered injury history. And you take a look at his profile here. He's only 24 years old, but he's got the size, man, that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. love in their number one corner. 6'1", 200 pounds, super, super long arms, plays with really great physicality and instincts. And what he's really known for is press man coverage. And that's what the Commanders want to do in their defensive scheme. That's what they did with the Dallas Cowboys, talking about Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. when they were there in Dallas. They had guys that they could trust in man coverage. And then, of course, they have that creative pass rushing scheme that they implement up front. But having a guy like Jaycee Horn, this guy could be your Trayvon Diggs here in Washington, just shutting people down if you can end up getting this guy. Now, obviously, you guys can see he hasn't finished the season fully healthy, and many times he gets injured very early in seasons. Now, he's been fully healthy so far this season, but he has 4 pass breakups. He does have an interception to start his 2024 campaign, but in 2023 and 2021, his rookie season, it was really unfortunate to see him get injured so early in those respective seasons. He also dealt with some injury issues in 2022 as well, where he had 3 interceptions. So listen, man, will Carolina want to keep him? It's definitely possible if they like him enough and they feel like he can be a cornerstone for their defense. It's very possible Carolina's like, we're a rebuilding team, but this guy's going to be a future cornerstone for us at just 24 years old. But his PFF grade so far is actually pretty decent, a 65.6. It's not the best in the world. It's just 44th. Ranked among 101 cornerbacks. So maybe Carolina's like, you know what, man, I'm not sure if I want to pay the 44th highest grading corner in football top dollar next offseason. So maybe we'll ship him out if we can get a day 2 draft pick. So let me know what you guys think about this potential trade offer. I have the Commanders getting Jaycee Horn in exchange for a 3rd round pick. Now, whether that's the Eagles' 3rd round pick or whether that's the Commanders' 3rd round pick, the Commanders currently possess 2 3rd rounders. So listen, man, you're kind of hoping that 3rd round pick turns into something even close to what Jaycee Horn can bring to the table. I think his skill set fits perfectly with what Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. want to do in terms of their number one corner here in Washington. And honestly, I think they could turn him into an all-pro here in the nation's capital, and all it costs is a 3rd round pick, potentially. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you accept this trade? If you're a Commanders GM, Adam Peters, type A if you would accept it, or type D if you would decline it. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know if you're accepting or declining. For me, I'm typing my A. All right, now let's get into another corner that I want to discuss. This one isn't brought up in CBS Sports' article, but I think Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints is a name to monitor, okay? Because he's 28 years old, so he's not young anymore. He is a veteran, but he does play with great physicality, and he specializes as a press man corner, and he's actually had a really good start to his 2024 campaign. He still has 3 years left, including this year on his current contract. The cap hit is actually not that bad because the Saints have already guaranteed a large portion of his contract. So it'd be like a $16 million cap hit for your number one corner if the Commanders are able to land him in a trade. And you take a look at his numbers here. He's another guy that's dealt with some injuries in the past, specifically in 2022, but he's stayed relatively healthy over the last couple of seasons. He missed a game so far this year already, but you look at the stats so far, and, I think that he's done a really good job in coverage. So they're not really throwing his way. He's just shutting guys down in that press system that they run there in New Orleans. They like to be very aggressive in that Saints defense. That's what the Commanders want to be in the secondary. So Marshawn has had a lot of experience as a number one corner, as an island type of guy where he is in press man and he is taking away an opposing team's number one receiver. Right now, his Pro Football Focus grade is ranking in the top 15 among corners. So this is definitely still a number one corner in the National Football League, and he could potentially be up for grabs, especially if Spencer Rattler and that Saints offense can't get it going while Derek Carr is out with an oblique injury. Right now, they've lost 3 straight football games, and if they continue to lose games heading into the deadline, I think Marshawn Lattimore could certainly be on the chopping block. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, 2 more trade rumors brought to us by Benjamin Solak of CBS Sports. I'll break those down and whether I think they're good ideas for the Commanders coming up here in just a second. But first, let's have word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game, whether it be collegiate or pro, live and in person, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. And lucky for you guys, Game Time is a brand new feature on their free app called Game Time Picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on a bunch of different ticketing apps. Super easy to use, guys. You just download the free Game Time app. You go to an event that you want to go see. Then you go to select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters every single ticket they have on their database to fit your needs using their AI analytics. It's absolutely phenomenal stuff, man. And it cuts out a bunch of research time on your end. Usually you have to go on a bunch of different ticketing apps and you have to compare prices, and it's just such a hassle. With Game Time Picks, every single ticket has the lowest price guarantee, and with Game Time Picks, it does the research for you, so it really expedites the process of finding great tickets at great prices for you and your family for whatever event you decide to go to. Also, they have transparent all-in pricing on their app, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee once you're ready to check out. And then you can also get your tickets last minute with flash deals, which actually reward you for waiting last minute, and they drive down their already guaranteed low prices even further the longer you wait to the start of the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports. It's one word, all caps, ChatSports, right down there in the bottom of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account with our friends at Game Time and redeem code ChatSports for $20 off that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So we talked about Jaycee Horn and the Carolina Panthers earlier, but they also connect the Commanders to another Carolina Panther here, which is Jonathan Mingo, former day 2 draft pick for the Carolina Panthers here. Pretty interesting idea, especially with how well the Commanders' offense is already playing at this point in the season. But this is what Solak has to say, connecting Mingo to the Commanders. Former Panthers general manager Scott Fitterer drafted Mingo in 2023. A year later, he might be able to reunite with the big target for a later round pick, giving Jaden Daniels added depth out wide. Now, personally, guys, you want my opinion on potentially adding Jonathan Mingo? Right now, he's not really even playing all that much in Carolina's offense, and we know how bereft they are of wide receiver talent, and I really don't think this is needed on the end of the Washington Commanders, man. I really like where they're at wide receiver as Joey pushes our cornerback depth chart. F Joey in the chat, but there they are right there. Terry McLaurin is obviously the number one. I think Noah Brown really fills the role that Jonathan Mingo would fill in this offense, so I think Noah Brown has been doing just fine. Don't really see where Jonathan Mingo fits in this dynamic, so I honestly don't know where Benjamin Solak is coming from this. He's kind of taking it at the angle of, oh, somebody that works for the Commanders now drafted Jonathan Mingo, therefore they should be interested. But honestly, man, you look at this wide receiver room, you look at how well this passing attack is doing right now with the current guys in the building, I really don't think there's any need to go out and get a receiver like Jonathan Mingo at this point. Now, the final rumor to discuss on today's edition of the Commanders Report is to trade Emmanuel Forbes, former first-round pick just last season ago, already trade him away here in his second year at the trade deadline to the Houston Texans, who currently are in need of some cornerback depth. So this is what Solak had to say about this potential idea. 1 year after arriving as a first-round pick, the slender Forbes isn't seeing much time in Dan Quinn's defense. He'd give Houston an enticing prospect, however, with starter Jeff Okudah sidelined. So listen, man, as far as I'm concerned, especially if the Commanders can get another corner in a trade like a Jaycee Horn, anybody can have Emmanuel Forbes for pretty much whatever price they want. You want to trade him for a 7th-round pick? Sure. You want to trade him for a 6th-round pick? Even better. Emmanuel Forbes, I'm really rooting for the guy, man. I think that it's been a really unfortunate situation for him, but he just doesn't have the size to play effectively at the NFL level. He can't tackle effectively. He can't block shed effectively just because he doesn't have the functional strength. And, he's gotten better in coverage, I would say, this season than he was last year. But if he allows even a slight crack, he's not physical enough to win at the catch point. He has to really be locked down, and the lack of size and strength really does limit his margin for error. And I just don't think he's ever going to, unless he puts on the weight, which I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do at this point. I'm just not sure if he's ever going to be a starting capable corner in this league. And I would probably rather upgrade if I were GM Adam Peters. However, like I said, I'm not giving away Forbes unless I know I have somebody else to fill that number 2 cornerback spot or even number 1 cornerback spot, all right? I want a deal in place for either Marshon Lattimore, Jaycee Horn, or somebody else that's going to start right away before I even think about trading one of my starting corners at this point in time. So let me know down there in the comments section. It doesn't have to be, the guys that we mentioned today, but just in general, which NFL trade candidates or candidate in particular do you want the Washington Commanders to target and try to trade for before the trade deadline this year? Are you a Davante Adams guy? Do you want to go get a corner like Jaycee Horn? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. For me personally, I would love to land Marshon Lattimore from the Saints. Thank you guys for making it to the end of today's video. I really do appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more free and in-depth Commanders coverage all throughout the 2024 season. All right, Mr. Joey, we haven't gotten our first super chat yet, but if somebody wants to send in a 5, we can do a candy toss. But by the way, we got the 50 likes. So
there we go.
So we got our first candy toss of the day here. $20, I get to slap Joey in the face. That's always fun with a tortilla. $50, you get to join Hog Mafia. So whatever you guys want to do, that's all great stuff. Certainly not required, but if you guys want to donate to the channel, we greatly appreciate it. Are you ready, Joey? I'm going to go, just a little bit up here, okay? Ready? It's up. And it's good! No shots for us! Joey!
Spam Jones!
Good stuff, man. Okay, so we got a bunch of people in the chat. We got School Funny. We got Gerald P. Got James Faison. We got King Musa. We got John Rollman. We got King Dwayne Lee. What's up, Dwayne Lee? Good to see you. We got Gray Ghost. We've got Cassie in the chat, of course. We got Kevin Close, Greg Payne, Kenny Lewis. It's Torched is here. Let's go, man. We got 130 people watching live right now. So, Joey, what did you think of those potential trade rumors for the Washington Commanders?
I liked them. My first thoughts were poor Carolina. Anytime they even do draft well, people want to trade for their guys. Like, they're just in a absolute hellhole right now.
Yeah, they're in a bad spot. I don't like their owner, David Tepper. I think he meddles into the organization too much and into the process of hiring head coaches and, the first-round draft picks. I don't like that when the non-football guys meddle in football affairs, and that's what David Tepper has definitely been doing. So feel bad for that organization. Don't necessarily feel bad for David Tepper because I don't like him personally. But listen, man, you look at the situation, I'm more than willing to poach their players, and especially a guy like Jaycee Horn, who's got long arms, super physical. He's had some really good stretches of play in the National Football League, and I think that schematically he is a perfect fit for our system here in Washington. I think the reason why he hasn't been like a top flight, top 10, top 15 grading in corner is because they run like an all-off coverage, kind of vanilla bend don't break style system there with Evero, the defensive coordinator in Carolina. But that's not really Horn's style. He's a bigger guy. He likes to play press jam. Like, that's what he would be able to do here in Washington. And I think that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., who, of course, is a former secondaries coach, could really unlock the talent of a guy like Jaycee Horn. And the fact that you could potentially get him for like a third-round pick, I think that is more than worth the squeeze.
Yeah, well, and that's what he played in South Carolina. He's used to, and it's a little bit easier in college when you're playing press man coverage, and it's harder in the NFL. But still, that's what he did in college. It's what he was good at, and he hasn't been able to do that. And for the injury-prone people who are saying, no, don't do it, he's Glass Joe or whatever, people are injury-prone until they're not. That's not a forever stain that you have.
And that's a legitimate concern, the injury stuff, because it's happened more than once. But, everybody has a chance to get injured, right? You're never going to get a guy that has a 0% chance of being injured. And now maybe Horns is slightly higher than some other guys. But, he's a great player. He's still young, only 24 years old. And, if you can get him for the right price, I mean, you look at this Commanders secondary right now, there's just no reason to not make a big move for one of these corners. I mean, seriously, if you're trying to win a Super Bowl this year, if they beat the Ravens this week and they really establish themselves as a team that could really go toe-to-toe against the league's best on the road even, I feel like you have to make a move for a corner. I don't care if it's Jaycee Horn. If he's too injury-prone for you, fine. Go get Marshawn Lattimore. I don't care. Get somebody, though. You can't have Emmanuel Forbes as one of your starting corners this year if you want to win a Super Bowl, because come playoff time, any team with a solid number 2 receiver is going to absolutely abuse Emmanuel Forbes, and it's going to be really, really ugly.
Well, and also, when you look at the NFC East, and I don't think the Cowboys or the Eagles should scare anybody this year, especially the Washington Commanders. And you look at the other teams in the NFC, okay? The NFC West, they're all beating up on each other. The NFC North, they're going to all beat up on each other at some point with Minnesota and Detroit.
Yeah, that's a very good division.
So you have a chance, if you can run the NFC East, to be a number 1 seed. And you got to look at, okay, we're here to win the East this year, right?
Yeah.
You've seen through these first 4 weeks, this is a real possibility, okay?
Yeah,
so why not try to get better and shoot for that number 1 seed?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. We're going to get into my official record prediction, my updated record prediction later in today's show, so make sure you guys stick around for that. Jalen's dad says the Forbes hate is real with a facepalm. I mean, Jalen's dad, it is real, all right? I don't hate him personally, all right? I don't like his football, though. And, I think that I have a very decent case for that. I don't try to, say somebody's a bad football player unless I have good reason to do so. And, if you just watch Emmanuel Forbes on film, he's not a good football player, man. He is just – and, I hate to say that because it's well, Jack, how can you say that? You talk about football for a living and you're judging other players and how they play football. But that's my job, man. My job is to watch film. My job is to evaluate these guys on film based on how they're playing, in relatively to the rest of the competition in the NFL. And Emmanuel Forbes is not particularly good in coverage, but what's scary is that coverage is his best element of his game right now. All right? He's useless as a tackler. He's not very good against the run at all. I mean, it's just, I'm rooting for the kid. I really am. I root for all these guys, but I'm also going to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to tell you when somebody's playing poorly. I'm going to tell you when somebody's not cutting it. And I'm going to tell you when, if you're going to try to win a Super Bowl this year, you need to go get somebody to replace somebody that is a liability on defense. And that's the reality of the situation with Emmanuel Forbes right now. I hope that's fair. That's what I try to be, man. I'm trying to be fair. And if you play bad football, I think it's fair for somebody to come on here and say that you're playing bad football. I don't know. That's just me.
No, you're not wrong. It's they have their jobs, we have our jobs, right? If it was switched, it would be no different. Obviously, we don't play in the NFL, and we're not ever going to play in the NFL, but that doesn't mean we can't evaluate talent. That doesn't mean we can't look at film, watch games, and see when X player is doing something wrong or has continued to do something wrong through the first year and a half of his career. And so, is his career over? No, of course not. But what he's shown so far gives me and gives you no pause in saying that you kind of need to get him out of here.
I'm seeing some people say that that he just needs better coaching. Guys, Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., they're the best in the business at getting the most out of these corners.
Deron Bland had 6 pick sixes last year.
They had Deron Bland playing at an all-pro level last year. They turned Trayvon Diggs' career around. These are some of the best secondary coaches in the National Football League that we have in the building here, and he's still not looking very good. So it's what coaches in the league are going to make him look better? Please explain to me what coaches we can get in here that are going to make Emmanuel Forbes play better football at the National Football League level. And I have a hard time. If I would have picked somebody, hand-picked one person to bring Emmanuel Forbes' career back from the dead, it would have been Dan Quinn as head coach with Joe Witt Jr. at defensive coordinator. That's exactly what the Commanders did this year, and he's still not playing well. So listen, if Emmanuel comes out on film throughout the rest of the season and he starts tackling and he starts covering guys and he starts getting interceptions and he starts being a productive corner, I'm going to change my tune. All right, plain and simply. Like I'm not married to the idea that Emmanuel Forbes sucks. All right, I'm married to what the film says. And right now, it's saying Emmanuel Forbes is a liability on defense. Now, can he turn it around? He's a young player, sure. That's why the Texans might be a team that might want to go get him because of the potential upside. But with the 4-1 start here, like, this is a team here with the Washington Commanders that could seriously make a run this year. And, like, I think if you have an opportunity to get a Jaycee Horn or a Marshawn Lattimore or even somebody else that comes up, I think you got to take it.
Yeah, things got real fast in Washington.
Things got real fast.
Really quick, a lot quicker than anybody thought they would be. And you're sitting here at week 5 and you're saying, okay, do we need to trim some fat? Okay, we might be competing now, this year. Who do we need to get out? Who do we need to get in?
So Marquise is asking, why is Lattimore's name being brought up so much? It's because the Saints cap situation is so bad in future years, and they don't want to pay the large cap hit that they're on the hook for at this point for Marshawn Lattimore. So essentially the thinking goes, they stink this year. They're not competing. We might as well unload a big cap hit type contract in Marshawn Lattimore so that we can get going. All right, so let's get into our next segment here. Oh, Joey's got to switch something real quick here. So we'll get into our next segment here soon. Gerald P. says, facts, Jack. We all know, including the coaching staff, Forbes hasn't established his career as a Commander or NFL player at all. And, Gerald, I appreciate the kind words there. But like I said, man, I'm rooting for the kid. I want him to start playing better. And if the film shows that he begins to start playing better, I'm going to shut up about going out and getting another corner because if Forbes is playing well, we don't really need one. But the fact of the matter is here, man, we have to be, objective. And if we're going to be objective here, Emmanuel Forbes has not had a great start to his career. But I'm definitely rooting for him. Soma Chin says, exactly, he just started working with them. Yeah, they just started working with them, but so did everybody else. And everybody else is kind of at a higher level, right, than Forbes is right now. And Forbes was playing bad with a different system as well. So it's like the scheme change hasn't really helped him out too much. So listen, man, like I've been saying, wishing that Emmanuel Forbes will play better. He's a first-round pick. Really hope that that it ends up that this team didn't waste their first-round pick last year on him. But right now it certainly seems that way, and hopefully he starts proving us wrong here. Like this team has proved us wrong this season. So I mean, we're more than willing to admit when we're wrong. I was wrong about this team heading into the year. I didn't think they were going to be this good. But I'm certainly willing to be the type of person to admit when I'm wrong if someone proves me wrong. So hopefully Emmanuel Forbes does that. Joey says we're good for our next segment here. Buy, sell, or hold. Let's get into it right now. Joey, remember, you come on screen to ask me the questions there, so let's get them going right now. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we haven't done a buy, sell, or hold segment on this show for a little bit, so today we're going to be taking Steelers hot takes here, and I'm going to tell you whether to buy, sell, or hold stock in that hot take. Joey Petersen, our producer, has come up with some nice questions here, and also he is the host of our Ravens channel, so like the video here, if you want to beat Joey's Ravens on Sunday, all right? He is very excited for this matchup. I am as well. We're going to see him on screen here in just a second. But if you want to beat Joey Petersen's Baltimore Ravens here in Week 6, and you want to show him who's boss here, let's rack up the likes here. And let's beat any one of his videos in likes this week, all right? Because the Commanders are on top. All right, Joey, I haven't seen these scenarios, by the way, so Joey, take it away.
Number 1, Jayden Daniels is already a top 10 NFL QB.
So this is an interesting one, man, because, the way I kind of do my quarterback rankings is like, if I have one game for this quarterback to be my quarterback on an NFL team, which guy am I taking? And, based on what we've seen from Jayden Daniels to start this campaign, I don't know if there are 10 names that I would put ahead of Jayden Daniels at this point in time because he can just do so much, man. He's got a great arm. He's got great intelligence in the pocket. He's got really good pocket feel, so he knows when to get out and use his legs. And then when he uses his legs, he's obviously dynamic. He's super accurate. He's accurate on the run. Like, this guy already has the skill set of a superstar quarterback. So I'm going to say buy stock that Jayden Daniels is already a top 10 NFL quarterback, because it's just like he's already got one of the most complete, if not the most complete skill set physically of any QB in the game. And then you look at what he's doing, dicing up the middle of the field with the completion percentage stuff, being as efficient as he's being. Like, he's combining that physical prowess with mental prowess as well, and nuance in the position that you just don't see every day. So I already think he's established himself as a star quarterback in this league, and I think he's definitely in that top 10 range as we sit here just 5 weeks into his NFL career, which is crazy to say. So let me know, true or false, down there in the comments section. Jayden Daniels is already a top 10 NFL QB. Type T if you think true, or type F if you think false. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by let me know, true or false.
On to the coaching staff. Cliff Kingsbury will be hired as an NFL head coach next offseason.
So this is an interesting one here, Joey, because I think if the season ends today, I think he's the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And, if the Bears miss the playoffs this year, which is certainly a possibility, I think there's a chance that they fire their current head coach, Matt Eberflus, and they try to get an offensive mind that can connect with their number 1 overall draft pick in Caleb Williams. And who else better than that than the guy that has completely allowed the number 2 overall pick in that same draft in Jayden Daniels to flourish in Washington. So I certainly think Cliff Kingsbury is a name to be watching out for the Chicago Bears head coaching position. But I'm going to say hold on this one for now, because we have seen Cliff Kingsbury get out to fast starts. If you remember a couple of years back with the Arizona Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals offense was the best offense in football for the first half of the season. And then obviously Kyler Murray gets hurt and has injury stuff for the rest of the season. But then everything crumbles to the ground. And you look at Cliff's record as an offensive play caller in the second half of seasons, it's terrible. All right. And the reason why that is because he traditionally hasn't been very good at making adjustments to his scheme, either mid-game or mid-season. So hopefully now things are a little bit different now that he has Jayden Daniels, now that he's just an offensive coordinator instead of a head coach. He's got less on his plate to deal with offensively. So I'm going to say hold on this one, but definitely liking what I'm seeing so far.
The Commanders' defense is just fine as currently constructed.
This one's easy for me, Joey. I'm going to go sell on this one. Listen, man, the defense has actually played a lot better as of late, right? Obviously, pass rush has certainly helped things out. And I think that the offensive lines for both Arizona and Cleveland have been terrible this season. So, maybe that 11 sack number these last 2 weeks is a little bit inflated. But I do think that the Commanders are doing more creative stuff up front. With the NASCAR packages and the stunts and games and, blitzing linebackers and doing lots of fun creative stuff to get pressure on the quarterback. And, I think that, but here's the deal. The secondary still stinks, all right? So if you go up against a good offensive line that can handle those stunts and games and handle the pass rush of the Commanders, I still think that this secondary, particularly the cornerback room, can give up quite a bit of points, just like they did in Week 1 versus Tampa Bay when they gave up 37 points against a good offense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think that they probably need to make a move at corner. And if you can do that and you get a really good corner like a Jaycee Horn or a Marshawn Lattimore or somebody else, I think that, you can certainly buy stock in this Commanders defense again. But until they do that, and they currently have this cornerback room as currently constructed, right now I'm selling stock on the fact that the Commanders defense is just peachy. All right, so coming up here on the Commanders Report, more hot takes to break down here, buy, sell, or hold style. But before we get into the rest of today's show, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. And Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide for even more value for your lineups. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. That is, if you know ball, which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long with our friends at PrizePicks. Let's take a look at my PrizePicks projection for this weekend's matchup between the Commanders and Ravens. I'm taking the more on Jaylen Daniels passing yards because of course I am. I'm going to take the less on Derrick Henry rushing yards. I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical on that one, but hey, man, go Commanders. And I'm going to take the more on Terry McLaurin receiving yards. Think he's going to have a good day against Marlon Humphrey in this football game. So you guys can get your projections in now when you download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you just play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game.
On to the money. Terry McLaurin will get another big contract with Washington.
So this one's interesting, man, because, Terry McLaurin, he's getting up there in age. Next year, he's going to be 30 years old. Usually wide receivers, when they have 1 year left on their current contract, they want to get that extension done because they don't want to be playing on just a 1 year deal. So I think that this is a potential issue for the Washington Commanders next offseason. They do have cap space to be able to make this deal happen with Terry if they want, but I'm going to say hold here. Now, I have a pretty good feeling that this is going to end up being a buy, and I think that they're going to end up making some sort of deal happen with Scary Terry. But right now, the wide receiver market is completely inflated, and right now you might be looking at paying him $27+ million per season on his next contract, even though he's reaching 30 years old. And, with the Washington Commanders team that's trying to get younger, trying to rebuild, I think that he's really going to have a good season this year and really prove that he is worth that kind of contract with Jayden Daniels throwing him the football. To this point, I would say he hasn't earned that contract, but as the season goes on, he gets more comfortable and he gets more chemistry with JD. I think he's going to be just fine. I think at the end of the day, he's going to be the most productive receiver on this Commanders offense, and I think at the end of the day, he'll be remaining in burgundy and gold for the next several years.
We talked Cliff already. Let's talk Joe Witt Jr. Joe Witt Jr. will be hired as an NFL head coach next offseason.
So you know what, man? I'm actually going to buy stock in this one because I'm a big fan of Joe Witt Jr. I love the way he talks. I love his mentality to the position and to football in general. He is a football guy's guy. If you listen to him speak, man, you just run through a wall through this guy, man. Like this guy, I've said guy like a million times here, Joey, but goodness gracious. I mean, this guy, I just did it again. But Joe Witt Jr. is just such a great defensive mind. He has proven himself here in Washington with the way he's already made adjustments this season. I think it's going to get only better this year. And if I'm an NFL team looking for a new head coach, I want somebody that can inspire the troops. I'm looking for somebody that can provide expertise on his side of the football. And Joe Witt Jr. Definitely does that for me. He reminds me a little bit of how, like Mike Tomlin, for example, the Pittsburgh Steelers talks to the media and talks about his guys and talks and all these different things. So I love Joe Witt Jr., man. If the Washington Commanders defense is even league average this year, let alone top 10, I think that NFL teams should be considering him for head coaching positions. So before we get into the rest of today's hot takes, make sure you guys click that subscribe button already because I really do appreciate everybody that joins our family here. We just passed 20,000 subscribers here at the Commanders Report. And the reason why we're growing so much and we're currently the fastest growing Commanders channel right here on the YouTube platform is because we got daily videos for you guys, in-depth coverage, and also weekly live shows every Wednesday and then every Commanders game day. It's all 100% free. So if you want free, in-depth Commanders coverage every single day here on YouTube, this is going to be the place for you. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now.
Buy, sell, or hold. The Commanders will win the NFC East this season.
This one is easy for me, Joey. I am buying stock in the Washington Commanders to win the NFC East here in 2024. They already have a nice little get-off, if you will, to the season. Now, the Dallas Cowboys are right behind the Commanders at 3-2 after beating the Steelers last week on Sunday Night Football. But I think we've all seen that Cowboys team play this year. A lot of close games. Lots of turnovers. The run defense hasn't been very good. The Commanders are high flying. The Commanders defense, I think, is good enough to beat up on bad offenses. And I think the offense is good enough to score 30 on any defense in the National Football League. So Washington is a very dangerous team right now. I don't think Jayden Daniels is going to necessarily keep up the pace he's had to start his career, but he's definitely not going to slow down that much either. So I think this is a double-digit win football team. They're the best team in the division. I think they're going to be walking away division champs this season.
Let's forget the division.
All right.
Forget the NFC East. the Commanders are legit title contenders this year?
So listen, man, if they beat the Baltimore Ravens, they beat your Ravens this weekend, Joey, I have to probably answer this question with a yes. But for now, I'm going to say hold, okay, when I'm leading sell. And the reason why I'm saying that is not because I think the Commanders are a bad football team. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's the first year of a new regime. And usually when you look at the stats of teams that make the playoffs in the first year or the first time making it to the playoffs in a new coaching regime, let alone a rookie quarterback has never won a Super Bowl in the National Football League. I think they're going to be a team that's certainly good enough as a football squad to win a championship. But when you look at the trends in NFL history, rookie quarterbacks never win Super Bowls. First-year head coaches with a new team never win Super Bowls. Like, it's just a very rare thing, all right? So, like, even though I think the Commanders are a team that's going to be in the title contention bubble here for a very long time after this season, I think this year it's going to be a very successful regular season. They may even win a playoff game or two. They might go on a little bit of a run. But in terms of really competing to hoist the Lombardi Trophy this year, right now I think that the trends in NFL history are not on the Washington Commanders side. However, I will say Jayden Daniels has certainly proven to be different from the rest of the rookie quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Perhaps he shows himself to be a little bit different as well when it comes to the postseason. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. What is the percent chance that the Washington Commanders are hoisting a Lombardi Trophy in New Orleans in February? Let me know down there in the comments section. Put it on a scale of 0, meaning no chance they win the Super Bowl this year, to 100, meaning they're definitely winning the Super Bowl. For me personally, I'll give them a 2-3% shot. I think that's more than fair, and that's a lot better than what the Commanders have been at here in recent memory. And then I think in future years, that number can be expected to rise up to 15, 20, 25% even, depending on how good this roster can be built by GM Adam Peters. So I think that this team definitely on the right track. They're going to be in that Super Bowl bubble for a long time after this season. But because of the NFL trends, I do think it's still a relatively low chance that they take it home this year. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more Commanders news and rumors coverage all throughout the 2024 season. I appreciate all of your guys' support. And until next time, go raise some hail. Got one more segment to get to here, Joey. We'll just get right into it here whenever you're ready.
Sounds good.
So much chance. There's a 99% chance the Commanders win the Super Bowl this year. Perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. I mean, I'd love to see it happen, man. I really would.
That would be...
seeing the first rookie quarterback ever lead his team to the Super Bowl. I mean, if Jayden Daniels wins it in his rookie season, something that no quarterback in the history of the NFL has ever done, I mean, if there's any quarterback in this generation that's going to be able to really match Patrick Mahomes' level of dominance in terms of championships, it might be Jayden Daniels if he can do it in year one.
Yeah, well, he certainly got off to the hot start. Do you think it's something that will ever happen? A rookie winning a Super Bowl?
Well, I'm sure. So this is what I'll say. I think that a rookie could potentially win a Super Bowl as a rookie, but he won't be. I think it's very hard to be the reason why a team wins a Super Bowl as a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
Like, this would be definitely the first time ever. I mean, it'd be the first time ever, period, that a rookie quarterback wins a Super Bowl. But, like, I'm not sure if I will ever see another quarterback be the reason why they win it. And I do think, with the Commanders' defense maybe not being the best in the world, like, it's the offense that drives this team. So if they win a Super Bowl this year, it's because Jayden Daniels, is leading the way. And, like, that would be a completely remarkable feat that we have never seen in NFL history. But the fact that we've never seen it in NFL history, I mean, makes me pause about saying that this is a legit title contender. I'm not necessarily saying they're a pretender. Like, they're not like a team that stinks that's just pulling out close wins. They're legitimately a good football team. But you just look at the postseason trends in NFL history and, like, first-year head coaches in a new team, rookie quarterbacks, usually that eliminates you from title contention. So we'll see what happens. I think this is going to be a really fun team. I think this year's Commanders are last year's version of the Houston Texans.
Yes.
They might even be a little bit better than the Texans were last year. I do think a playoff win is on the table. I would even say 2 playoff wins are on the table. But once you start talking about 3-4 winning a Super Bowl kind of level, I think that's probably, where the ceiling cuts off from this year's Commanders team. But next year, if they make the postseason, they're definitely going to be in the hunt.
When I think in I feel like most recent memory I have of something like this happen, of a rookie quarterback almost winning it, I think of Dak in his first year. But that was a totally different story, right? He was drafted onto a roster that was already ready to win, right?
Yeah. If he would have won a Super Bowl that year, they wouldn't have won it because of Dak. They would have won it because of Zeke in the run game that was so dominant that year. The defense was good that year too.
Exactly.
Like, this is the first time where we're talking about, a rookie quarterback winning MVP. Like, that's never happened in NFL history. The only time a rookie has won MVP, it was Jim Brown. I mean, it's Jim fucking Brown, all right, that we're talking about here in the late 50s. And we're talking about Jayden Daniels in that same conversation. Like, that is how generationally great this guy is. So maybe he can just buck all the trends and win a Super Bowl in year one. Who knows? But I'll tell you this right now, Joey. If you want to do that, you better go get Jaycee Horn or Marshawn Lattimore, because I don't think Emmanuel Forbes is surviving on that kind of big stage.
Yeah, because you're playing guys like, at that point, if you're talking about Super Bowl, you're going up against Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And those guys torch defenses at a better rate than anybody else in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I think Jayden Daniels on any given Sunday can go toe-to-toe with any of those guys, because we've seen him do it against Joe Burrow.
Yes.
He went into Burrow's house and made him his daddy. I mean, and he's a rookie. So, like Jayden Daniels, don't get me wrong, he can beat any team in the National Football League. This football team can beat any team in the National Football League. But, there's a certain thing that comes with playoff experience. There's a certain thing that comes with continuity of the coaching staff that the Commanders just have a disadvantage of when they get to the postseason. So I really like this team. They're going to be in the Super Bowl contention for a very long time. I can't wait to cover it here on the show. But in terms of a Super Bowl this year, I would love to see it happen, but they would be making history if they made it happen.
Yeah, they would. Well, let's get into our record prediction and see if we get them going to the Super Bowl.
Let's go, man. Let's get it going right now. Record prediction. I think you guys are going to be pretty happy with where I have them, so let's get it going right now. Today on the Commanders Report, I am breaking down the remainder of the Washington Commanders 2024 regular season schedule, and I am updating my record prediction after the Washington Commanders have gotten out to their 4-1 start to their 2024 campaign. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and make sure you guys get down there in the comment section to kick off today's show and predict it for me. What will Washington's final record be this season? They're currently sitting at 4-1, so how good can this team be? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Okay, man, so let's get into what the Commanders have done thus far. They're currently sitting at 4-1, 4 straight wins after kind of an embarrassing loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I remember that first watch party, man. Like, everybody was saying, season's over. Oh, this defense is the worst in the game. All this different stuff. But hey, man, 4 straight wins later, we're talking about the Commanders not only as a potential playoff contender in the NFC, but a potential title contender in the NFL writ large. So 4 straight wins. I don't think that the Browns or the Cardinals or the Bengals defense or the Giants are necessarily like high-flying teams. But this first week here in week 6, in my new updated record prediction is against the Ravens. This is a legit football team on the road against a former MVP. And although I think that this game's going to be within the margin of error, like it's going to be very, very close. It's going to be a shootout, lots of points. Can't wait to watch it, but I am going to go with the Ravens. All right, they do have a little bit more experience. They are home. Lamar Jackson does have a little bit more of that NFL experience. I think that the Ravens have a little bit more talent, especially in the secondary, than the Commanders have. So those little advantages, I think, lead to a loss for the Commanders, and they go down to 4-2 this week. But then they go up against the Carolina Panthers at home, and I think they get the win. That defense is absolutely terrible. It wouldn't surprise me if the Commanders score 50 in that football game. The Panthers' defense is that bad. Then I think they win against the Bears, and Jayden Daniels, he went up against a former Heisman Trophy winner from LSU and Joe Burrow and outdueled him. And then I think he's going to outduel Caleb Williams and the Bears. I think that Jayden Daniels is going to do a really good job. The Bears' defense is legit. That's going to be a legitimate test for Cliff Kingsbury and this Commanders offense that week. Jalen Johnson is a legit number 1 shutdown corner, so Jaden's going to have to find creative ways to get the ball to different receivers other than Terry McLaurin. But Jaden's been doing that all season, so I'm not too worried about that. Give me the win against Chicago. And then I think they're going to sweep the Giants. Now, our Giants host, Marshall Green. I love Marshall, but he thinks that the Giants are a good football team because this Commanders team is rolling over everybody, and that Giants team nearly knocked off the Commanders. But the Commanders, kind of shot themselves in the foot with stupid penalties in the red zone, led to a lot of unsuccessful red zone trips, and I don't think that's going to happen again the next time these two teams face off. So I think that Washington's going to be just fine. I think they're going to win that game in the Meadowlands for 3 straight victories. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, the home stretch, second half of the 2024 regular season. Where do I have the Commanders ending up record-wise at the end of the year? I'm going to answer that question here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. So if you want the best possible seats at the best possible price for you and your family, a brand new feature from our friends at Game Time called Game Time Picks is perfect for you because it filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And let me tell you, man, this is such a time saver. And what I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. All-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout. And then also flash deals so you guys can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Personally, guys, I'm somebody that likes to get tickets kind of last minute. I'll kind of just be sitting at my office here at Chat Sports Studios, and I'll be like, I want to go see an NBA basketball game, or I want to go see an MLB baseball game, or I want to go see a concert with my girlfriend, Cassie. That's the case. Just whip out the Game Time app. I use Game Time Picks, and it saves me hours of research going through a bunch of different ticketing apps to find the best prices on Game Time. It's the lowest price guarantee, and Game Time Picks does the research for me to find the best tickets to my preferences. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Then we get to the Pittsburgh Steelers here in Week 10. I think that's going to be a loss because the Steelers have a really, really good defense, really, really good pass rush. I think it's just going to overwhelm, which is still kind of a middling, let's call it, Commanders' offensive line. I think T.J. Watt is going to absolutely eat Andrew Wiley for breakfast in that one. So even though you're at home, Steelers' offense has been struggling. I think at this point the Steelers will probably trade for a receiver, and their offense will be a lot better at that point. So give me the loss there in Week 10. And then another loss here in Week 11 to the Eagles on the road. Now, we'll see if the Eagles continue down their downward spiral. Jalen Hurts has not played good football. But listen, man, this is a divisional game on the road. Jaden Daniels has never played in that really hostile environment there in Philly. I think it might get to him just a little bit. It's going to be a close game, but I'm going to give me the Eagles there in Week 11. But then you get back on the horse here at home against the Cowboys on the grass there in Landover and get the win against the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are a very good football team, particularly on defense. I think the Commanders light up the scoreboard at home. I don't like the Titans either. Titans stink. So I'm going to give me the win there for the Washington Commanders in Week 13. Heading into the bye in Week 14. I think you're sitting at the bye feeling pretty darn good about yourselves. You're definitely in the playoff picture. You're probably first place in the NFC standing. It's the NFC East standings at this point. And now that you go down the home stretch, you're going to be rested. You're going to be ready to go. And let's see what I think about this team moving forward. I think they're going to get the win off of the bye. I think this team is going to be well prepared. Dan Quinn is going to have his guys ready to go into the Superdome. Who knows if they're going to have Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, somebody else at quarterback at this point. I like the Commanders to come out victorious there. The state that Jaden Daniels played his college football in. So that'll be a fun one there for Jaden. Then I have them winning at home versus the Eagles, splitting against Philly. It's a tough, contentious division rivalry there, but I think they'll win on their home turf in Week 16. Then the Falcons, they're home for that game, and the Falcons are a team that plays inside, plays in warm weather. By that point in the year, it's definitely possible it's a weather game. It's going to be cold. The Falcons are just not used to playing in that type of environment, so I think that's a pretty easy win for the Commanders. And then I'm going to have them take a loss and kind of do a split with the Cowboys. The Cowboys play a lot better at home on their home turf. They can play faster traditionally, so give me the split here with the Cowboys as well within the division. So listen, man, I think I went pretty conservative with the Washington Commanders schedule here in my record prediction here, and I still had them at 12-5. All right, and it's possible that they sweep the Eagles. It's very possible that they sweep the Cowboys, right? I think that it's certainly possible that they put up enough points to beat the Steelers, right? This team's ceiling is almost like 14, 15 wins, as crazy as it sounds with how well they're playing right now. But, 14, 15 wins is usually reserved for, seriously good football teams. with a rookie quarterback, first-year head coach. I do think they lose some of these football games, particularly against tough division rivals. So give me 12-5 here. But the good news is, guys, that's probably going to be more than enough to win the NFC East this year. I don't love the teams in this division this year, and it easily gets you into the playoffs with a home playoff game for Jaden Daniels in his rookie season. So let me know down there in the comment section, what's the percent chance that you think the Washington Commanders could be the number 1 seed in the NFC this year? 12 wins will certainly get you to knock on the door of the number 1 seed. And if you just add another win, 13 to 14 wins, that's almost going to guarantee you a first seed and a first-round bye for the Washington Commanders this year, just 1 year after drafting number 2 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Put it on a scale for me of 0 to 100. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. 0 meaning no chance they're the number 1 seed, to 100 meaning they're definitely, no matter what, going to be the number 1 seed. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And, of course, let me know how you think this Commanders team is going to do this year. How many playoff wins do you think they can get? Do you think they can win a Super Bowl this year? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And without further ado, guys, that'll be it for today's show. So until I see you tomorrow, go raise some hail. All right, Joey, no candy tosses so far except for one. We're 3 likes away from one more candy toss. Maybe we can get a shot in before we say goodbye today.
Nah, because I'm catching it. No shots for us. We got 5% from Gregory. Gerald's feeling 85%.
Gerald, man, I appreciate the confidence in this football team right now. I think that, Commanders fans are very happy to see this team play well. I'm happy to see this team play well right now. But it's also, I think, important to have a little bit of perspective. And, I'm always going to be the guy that tempers and, tells you to, maybe manage some expectations a little bit. The Browns are a fucking terrible football team. The Cardinals have no offensive line or defense. Cincinnati has no defense. And the Giants are bad. And you almost lost to the Giants. So you've been playing some bad football teams lately if you're the Commanders. Now, you've been beaten up on them, which is what good football teams do. Don't get me wrong. I think this is a good football team here in the Washington Commanders. But number 1 seed over Detroit, number 1 seed over some other teams in the NFC right now, it's possible. I'd give them 15 to 25% chance. It's not a 0% chance. I think that they can win a lot of games on this schedule, and they're going to be sitting at least 12, at least 11 wins this year. I feel very confident about this football team. What do you think about a record prediction here, Joey?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I do think it's a little bit it's cause for pause a little bit when you look at those 5 wins. The only team in those 5 games that is going to win their division is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they might not even win it. It might be Atlanta. But that's the only team that I would say has a pretty good chance to win their division.
Yeah.
And so I think that gives you a little bit of pause. And again, like you said, you're doing what you should against the bad teams. You can only play who's on your schedule.
Yep.
But I think you do, like you said.
And like I said, I just predicted the team to go 12-5. That's an excellent record. That is at least number 3 seed. Probably number 2 seed at the very worst in the NFC.
When's the last time Washington's won 12 games?
I mean, definitely back when it was in the 16-game format.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the last time the Commanders won 12 games. But, that's what I think they're going to get this year. And honestly, they could even get a 13th, or maybe even if they're really, really good, a 14th.
So it's been since 1991.
So it's been since 1991, since the turn of the century.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, man. And, I think that, if you're setting the expectation for Super Bowl or bust this season, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yes.
Let's enjoy, for the first time in a long time, actually having a good football team and actually having a superstar-level quarterback on the team. My expectations for this football team is to make the playoffs and be competitive. Now, if they lose a game close in the first round of the playoffs, I'm going to be great, we're going to be a Super Bowl contender next year anyway. We're going to have a bunch of cap space. We're going to draft well. And we're going to be right back here next year, and we're going to have a quarterback that is a superstar who might win league MVP if he doesn't win it this year. And you're going to have some playoff experience in the second year of a Dan Quinn scheme, and I think you're going to be ready to go to potentially hoist the Lombardi Trophy again.
Exactly.
And I think that's if you're saying that a first-round exit in the playoffs is a failure for the Washington Commanders this year, I think your expectations are just a little bit out of whack. Of course we would love for this team to win a Super Bowl, right? But if you're expecting a Super Bowl or bust, it's a disappointing season if they don't win it. It's I think that it's like you're so used to being a bad football team that you so badly want to jump to Super Bowl or bust mode because we finally have a good football team. And I completely understand that 100%. But, like, I'm just telling you, as an objective football journalist, analyst, whatever you guys want to call it, I know the history of this game. Rookie quarterbacks, first-year head coach regimes, usually maybe one playoff win, and then they're usually done. And I think that's perfectly fine for this team this year.
Yeah, I do too.
Especially if you win 12 games with a rookie quarterback.
Yes. You're not the San Francisco 49ers, right? That's a fan base that if they don't make a conference championship or if they don't make a Super Bowl based on their last 5 years, they can be upset about it, right? They have a right to be upset about that. Our expectations as we watch the Commanders, sure, they shifted, but they still should be grounded in a sense, right? Going to the playoffs would be massive for this first year. You didn't expect it, and you might have a chance to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Gregory Pratt says, no, it was Gerald P. says, Cardinals beat the 49ers at home, and the Giants just beat Seattle. So listen, man, I think the Giants beat Seattle because Seattle's offensive line is so bad.
It is bad.
The Seattle's offensive line is such a liability, and the Giants have a legit pass rush. So
they had 6 sacks? Was that it?
Something like that. And then they had a blocked field goal, and Seattle did a lot of bad things to lose that football game. And then the 49ers last week, it's not like the Cardinals were like this amazing team in that football game and like they completely dominated a good football team. Like the Niners shot themselves in the foot time and time and time again in that game. I think that the result of that game is a lot more bad 49ers than good Cardinals. And by the way, the 49ers are a 2-3 football team right now. So if we're saying, hey, we beat the Cardinals and they beat a 2-3 49ers team, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like this is a good football team for sure, but we haven't played good football teams yet. Like, the Ravens are legitimately a good football team. So if they beat them this week, I don't think there's any reservations that you have for this team at all moving forward whatsoever.
I agree. Let's do a candy toss.
One more candy toss before
likes.
we say goodbye here, and then we'll say goodbye for the day, man. It's been a good show. Jasmine says Commanders will sweep the Cowboys this year. I sure hope so, Jasmine.
Sweep.
Certainly rooting for that. Ready?
Let's do it.
So, no. He did not swing.
I didn't catch it, but I didn't go for it.
You can't find it?
I can't see it right now, but we'll get it after. Oh, right. It went under the door. We'll get it after.
All right, here we go. You want it this way, actually?
No, do it that way. That's better.
So. Oh, no shots for us. Joey.
I need a redemption from last week.
Good stuff, man. Okay, that'll be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by today. Got over 100 likes. Got to 3 awesome segments that I thought were a lot of fun to do. Hope they were fun to watch. I will see you guys later, man. I don't actually think we're doing a watch party this week. I don't think we could find studio space, unfortunately.
There's not.
Even though we're a 4-1 team, and apparently we can't find studio space, which is a little ridiculous if you ask me.
I'll be live if they want to come hang out with me.
That's true. Joey will be live on Ravens, so for some reason Ravens gets studio time, but not Commanders. What's up with that, Joey? I don't know, but
hey, when you have an electric overtime game like last week, I guess is what you get.
So if you guys want to hang out with Joey on the Ravens report, you guys, it's Ravens Rundown, right?
Ravens Rundown.
So Sunday. You guys are going to go live an hour before?
Yes, we'll be live 12 p.m. Eastern time.
All right, so if you guys want to hang out with Joey, cheer on the Commanders, go F the what do you guys call it? Raven. The flock. Yeah, F the flock in the chat. Represent the Commanders. You guys can go ahead and do that. But I appreciate your guys' support. I will be doing a post-game analysis of the game whenever the game's done. So we will have a video after the game is over on Sunday. But, of course, we'll be right back here live next Wednesday for another edition of the Commanders Report live show, hopefully talking about a 5-1 Commanders team that just took down your Ravens, Joey. All right, that'll be it for today's show. We'll see you guys later, and until next time, go raise some hail.